Hey everyone, so Bitcoin has dropped about 50% from its highest price. Let's start with that. It hurts to look at. If you feel worried, stressed, or tired of seeing red numbers, you're not alone. Bitcoin went up, around $126,000 back in 2025. After that, it fell hard. It lost tens of thousands of dollars from the top. That is a big crash. So it is fair to ask, why would anyone still care about Bitcoin right now? Why talk about owning it when it looks so bad on the chart? That is what I want to talk about in this video. I don't want to use hype. I want to connect what you see in your life, what is happening in the economies, and where Bitcoin fits in. On the surface, it feels like everything is going wrong at the same time. Price are going up, grocery costs more, rent costs more, insurance costs more. The bills keeps taking more of your paycheck. At the same time, many people are losing jobs. Some company, stop hiring. Many are using computer and artificial intelligence to replace workers. And you don't have to be an expert to feel that something is off. Most people feel it. Here is where the problem starts. We talk about each thing like it is its own story. One day is the news talk about inflation. The next day it talks about jobs cuts. Then they talk about AI's taking over. Another day it is about high housing costs. Another day it's about government's debt. But if you zoom out, it doesn't look like randoms. It looks like one big change. On one side, the cost of living keeps going up. On the other side, the system needs fewer people to do the same job. That is not the same world our parents grew up in. In the old world, the advice makes sense. Go to school, get a degree, get a safe job, work hard, retire one day. That's worked when companies need more and more people as they grew. Today, it is different. A lot of growth comes from not hiring more people. It's come from efficiencies. That means using softwares and AIs to do jobs humans used to do. So a company can cut 20% off its staff and gets the same work done. Wall Street loves it. Profits go up. The stock price go up. But here's the key question. Who wins? When's that happen? It's not the person who got laid off. The winners are the people who own the assets. That is where the real gap is forming. We spend our lives talking about incomes, how much we make. Did you get a raise? Did you get a bonus? But the game is changing. It is less about how much you earn and more about what you own. There are two worlds now. In one world, you live only on a paycheck. On the other world, you own assets that can grow over time. That can be stocks, real estate, a business, and Bitcoin. If you live only on a paycheck, every price increase hits you hard. You feel every jump in rent, food, and gas. But if you own assets, the story feels different. You can benefit when those assets grow in value. Now, let's bring this back to Bitcoin. Even in this big crash, yes, Bitcoin is down a lot from the highs. In this cycle, it has dropped around 40 to 50% from that $126,000 per coin. That is scary. It makes people say, see, it does not work. But this is where it helps to know what you own. Bitcoin has always had big ups and downs. In the past, it has fallen 70 to 80% in bad markets before it's made new highs later. That does not promise the same things will happen again, but it shows that big drops are normal for Bitcoin. They are not a surprise. So the real question is not, is Bitcoin's down? We all see that. The better question is, what are you comparing it to? While Bitcoin is falling from its all-time high, the money system in the background keeps doing what it always does. Debts go up. More money is created. Over time, your dollar usually buy less, not more. Your rent did not go down 50%, does it? Your grocery bill did not have a bear market. Those things keeps hitting new highs. That is the piece many people miss. They say Bitcoin is too volatile, but they never say my currency is too weak. Bitcoin is not just a tech stock. It is a digital asset with a fixed supply. There will only ever be 21 million Bitcoin. I keep repeating this. I know it sounds like a broken record, but it is true. Got to keep that in mind. No one can print more. The networks has been running for many years through bans, bad news, and crashes. In a world where governments keep adding debt, central banks can create more money at any time, and the cost of living keeps climbing. Owning something outside that system starts to matter. That does not mean you should go all in. It does not mean you ignore risk. It means you seize the role Bitcoins can have as part of an ownership plan. Remember, the whole thing is about moving from just earning to also owning. If AIs will do more work in the futures, who gain most from that? If companies push hard for more efficiency, who gains most? If assets keep rising over years while money slowly loses buying power, who gains most? The answer is the same. Owners. Owners of good assets. Owners of scarce assets. Owners of things that are not just our traded for dollars. That is why I am still talking about Bitcoin even after a 50% crash. Not because it feels good, not because I like watching big drops, but because pretending the old system still works like it did 30 years ago does not feel honest. None of this is about guessing the exact bottom. I do not know if Bitcoins will fall more before it moves up again. No one does. What I can do is look at the big picture. We know Bitcoin had wild moves before and later made new highs in the past cycle. We know the global money systems keeps growing its debt and money supply. We know living costs keep rising and hit people who only have a paycheck the hardest. We know techs and AIs are changing jobs and who gets paid. In that kind of world, owning a scarce global digital assets that no single government's control still makes sense to me over the long term. That is why people think about stacking sats. They are not doing it because they enjoy paying. They do it because they are playing a long game. They are not trying to buy at the perfect time. They are trying to move their life from only incomes to income plus ownership. For some, that means $10 at a time. For others, it is a small part of every paycheck. The exact amount is not the main point. The mindset is the point. The mindset says, I want something working for me beside my own labor. I want a piece of something that is not getting inflated away. I know it is hard to think clearly when the price is crashing. Fear is loud, regret is loud, doubt is loud. But this is often where the most important choices happen, not at the top. When everyone feels smart, they happen in the depths when it feels scary. This does not mean you blindly buy every drop. It means you zoom out and ask a few simple questions. Has the long-term ideas behind Bitcoin changed? Has the supply changed? Has the code suddenly allowed more than 21 million coins? Has the world stopped printing money and adding debt? If the answers to those questions is no, then the volatility looks more like a cost of entry than a reason to quit. So yes, Bitcoin has crashed hard. Yes, this drawdown hurts. Many people will give up here, like they have in the past cycles. But when I connect the dots between inflation, AIs, rising costs, debt, and the shift from workers to owners, I keep landing in the same place. Ownership matter. Scarcity matter. And for me, Bitcoin is still a key part of the story. That is why I keep stacking, not recklessly, slowly and over time with a long-term view. I would rather build ownerships in a volatility asset with a fixed supply that sits in a system that quietly takes more from me every year. This is not financial advice, guys. Do your own research. Know your time frame, know your risk. But if you are still here, still thinking and still trying to understand what is going on, you're already ahead of most people. And as always, my friend, whatever you have, hold it tight, right? Stack it right. Take care. Hope to see you in the next video. Thank you for watching this one.